What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology forecast for the weekend of November 27th and the 28th of 2021. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Let's take a look at this week. We are going to have a moon in Virgo for this weekend. And, it's doing a lot. It's definitely trying to kind of clean up our personal lives here, kind of get emotions in order with all these big beliefs, all that's like what's expanding, what's contracting, certain aspects that we need to funnel in on in our life here with the immediate square to the nodal axis when it comes in. There's a lot of very heady energy this weekend, like especially with the moon in Mercury's home sign of Virgo and then square the north node in Mercury's other home sign of Gemini. Like, there's just we need to get real practical and to the point about the aspects of our reality that we need to feel comfortable and that we need to feel good. So I definitely feel like that's a big sort of like point to this weekend. And especially on Saturday with Saturn at 8 degrees and Chiron at 8 degrees, and they're really tight. They're within 5 minutes of geometry. They're going to be making both a sextile over to that moon at 8 degrees of Virgo. Now, 8 is a very Saturnian degree, and having Saturn in this mix with a quincunx to the moon, I feel like there could be some stress, but at the same time, it's like this is important stress that's actually like it's working through these things and making sort of the physical, practical changes to find our true identification, to kind of like find some like fire with Chiron in it, but it's almost like sensitive. But with Saturn and Chiron and sextile, like they're working together. Like we can create new forms of our power and identification, strength, and how we're moving forward right now in a really positive way. But it starts with your personal life, and that's like everything. And it really is like, are you willing to shift things around? Are you willing to clean something up in life if it's not bringing you comfort, or if it's not bringing sort of, even a sense of magic into your reality, with Pisces being the polarity, and the moon will also oppose Neptune tomorrow on Sunday. So, and it's a finger of God, so it's a fated couple hours, midday, early, late morning, for this yod. And I don't know. I think we're really having to like restructure things, um, and it has to make sense. And that's where it's like, yeah, there's a south node in Sag. Mercury just came off that. We got the Sun and Mercury together in Sagittarius this weekend. So there's like all these like, oh my gosh, this and expanse and exploration, and I could learn this and this philosophy, and all these, gosh, I mean everything. And then it's like this north node in Gemini is getting a lot of pressure, and a moon in Virgo. Like, well, what about literally the stuff right in front of your face? Like, what's that like? Like, we know there's plenty of beliefs. We know there's plenty in the world. Really focus on your environment this weekend and the stuff that you can clean up within that environment. And if you're willing to like show up for that, I think you'll see like your future start to really like make more sense. Maybe some of the puzzle pieces that we've been looking for kind of like show up, and because we're cleaning, right? Oh, look under the bed, do a little cleaning. Oh, there's that puzzle piece I've been missing. That kind of energy, comes up to me on Saturday. So it's just like, hey, let's really like look at the fine detail here. And that actually might have more expanse than just all these different, like, sort of going way out far into some crazy journey. But at the same time, Sun and Mercury coming together in Sagittarius, like, I think that we do want to kind of envision and kind of see, like, what else is out there. So it's kind of funny. I do think that we're at this place of really looking and honing in on sort of the things in our personal life that can expand without like thinking we need something so far in the distance or to go on some crazy quest. The quest is probably much more localized, if you will. And the moon will make a nice trine over to Uranus in the evening on Saturday. And I mean, I think that this is also another area of life, like especially with Uranus now at 11 degrees, and the moon will be at 11 degrees for that. Like, and 11 is very Virgo, so I feel like it's really emotionally critical time of moving into the future, kind of liberating yourself with what really is going to make you feel good in life, especially with Uranus and Taurus. Like, we kind of have to rebel to find beauty and comfort and the sustainable aspects of our personal life, because the moon really is our personal life too. So yes, it's emotion, but that's a nice aspect that we are getting. And of course, we start the day off too with the third quarter square of the sun and the moon in mutable signs in between a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. So this is really like a big checkpoint day on the mutable aspects of not only like our physical world, our reality, getting things in order, but also, checking in on like, well, okay, if I clean this up and this up, what will that open up for me? So it's almost like, yeah, just really honing in. And that's like I would say the polarity today is honing in on the stuff that's localized, that you have some sort of control over, instead of needing some, I don't know, almost like with the sun and Mercury, which the moon will square Mercury as well in Sagittarius, like needing some like guru or some teacher to come through and tell you like, no, you got to clean this up. This is like with the North Node there. It's really like, hey, no, you know your truth of what needs to be straightened up and what needs to be tossed out, and oh, you're hoarding this. And there's also like Uranus and Taurus, which Taurus can be kind of like hoarding energy, and it's like, no, can't hoard that anymore. Gotta let these things go. It's part of sort of the old story, and we need to kind of move forward into the new story by getting certain things in order. And I guess, being honest with ourselves too, and really grounded and practical in a sense that it is the little things in our life that are opening up the most expanse for ourselves, and maybe philosophy. So super heady Saturday energy, but I do like it. And we'll look at Sunday, as we also see by Sunday we see Venus come to 19 degrees, and it's going to start getting really tight on that sextile over to Neptune. So there is this sort of background energy too that's not like full strength this weekend, but it is trying to bring dreams into physical form. But it's almost like you have to be willing to put the work in to get that, and at least just try things, even though we're in this place with values and Venus in shadow coming up towards Pluto. It's only 5 degrees from Pluto now, so we can't forget that. And we're going to have all of December with Venus and Pluto. So like, yeah, values are about to get an overhaul, but at the same time, having a vision, being able to imagine what things can look like without maybe them sticking right away, can be pretty helpful. And then the moon will also be coming into the latter degrees of Virgo by Sunday, and it's going to oppose Neptune and trine Pluto, trine Venus. So, I mean, I do like this. I mean, this is where, to me, like there can be so many, visions and magic that's out there, but we also have to be very grounded and show up for ourselves and be practical and move things around to get what's going to be the really feel good energy, especially with the moon trine Venus, like in Earth. Like, this is about you doing the things physically to bring goodness and beauty into your life, and sort of how that harvest can look for you. And it's okay if they change, and it's okay if, I feel like we just have to get into the clay. Like Virgo reminds me of clay, and you can mold it into pots and whatever you want to do. So it's almost like we just have to be willing to start the project and start molding things, and we might just end up with something really beautiful, or we might try something and it might not look the way we want it to look. Well, that's fine. Let's keep spinning it and keep seeing what's up, and see what we can transform it into the second time around. And like keeping that vision and keeping that faith that it can be beautiful, and in a way that maybe idealistically you wanted it to look like, but being open to, what, maybe perfection doesn't exist right this minute, or maybe it does. But seeing like the realness of it, I think could be helpful. We're also going to see the moon sextile over to Mars on Sunday from Virgo, and I think this is like helping us penetrate pretty deeply into our emotions, but in a real sort of manner, and to take action for those things, and hopefully use our penetrative Mars here that's trying to discover more about ourselves and go deeper and deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, but to use that for some sort of practical change in our reality that does feel like it's moving us and progressing us towards what we ultimately want. And then, of course, Mars will come to 19 degrees as well. It'll come to 20 degrees actually by the end of Sunday night and make that trine over to Neptune. So now Mars is going faster than Venus. Venus going 38 minutes, Mars 41. And Mars will make that full-on trine over to Neptune, which is interesting because I think that there's so much depth that we've had to get into and see what's in there and what we're really made of. And now we get to kind of see the unbound creative potential in it, but we also can be kind of like sensitive to what we find deep in there. So it's kind of like, I like it though. I feel like we're ready to see the magic that we can, really pursue and go after, but it comes through not just believing in the magic or having just ultimate faith, but actually like putting that to the test and actually doing something to see the magic come out instead of just like, no, I'll just push it off. Like, I feel like this moon in Virgo is just like, no, don't push it off. If you keep pushing it off, you're just going to stress yourself out because maybe you didn't do the little thing that you really wanted to do to bring whatever that may be in that you do desire. And the Sun and Mercury will come together at 6 degrees on Sunday. And I like that. It's a Venusian sort of relating, balancing degree. So we're kind of like balancing out maybe a lot of aspects with other people and beliefs and how we can kind of mold things together. But I think it's also seeing how beautiful our beliefs and visions can be and kind of, seeing how beautiful what we do know already about ourselves and our truth really is, and having like maybe a crystallized understanding of that. And realizing we don't have to quest so far. We're already at a point where we have a good understanding of the here and the now. The future is kind of like up in the air a little bit, to be completely honest. So, don't trick yourself into thinking that there's just something crazy radical out there that you have to go find. I think it's more about realizing you have it localized, and it's about doing what it takes to get that into physical form and to get that and to make it real. That seems important for this weekend. And that's where I think you'll find the most beauty and be like, oh yeah, like I do know this, like I do have that. Like maybe kind of realizing you're more of the guru for yourself than maybe what you thought. And I feel like there's some divine like inspiration coming to our ego with the Neptune trine, but only if you're being real. Like if you're just completely disconnected from reality, then it's almost like you're going to put things off this weekend that you should have done to get things handled or in order for what it is you're looking to achieve this weekend. But overall, I do like the energy this weekend. I think it's definitely having us get things in order where maybe they've been out of order for a little while. Or maybe there's just some like chaotic energy in between eclipses that we're trying to deal with and some unsureties. We can kind of like get to the point this weekend, and it's kind of like fated to help us like realize our own authority and our own inner strength of how we can come to that kind of conclusion for ourselves, if you will. That's what I got. And that's what I got. I had a really fun Friday night. Went out dancing. It was groovy. I haven't danced since like early August. I like went on a dancing sabbatical. So it was nice to move the body a little bit tonight. And I'm recording this at 2 a.m. So Queen of Swords upright. Yeah, I would say that is kind of like the challenge of this weekend is realizing that you have a defined understanding of what needs to be figured out, what needs to be put together, what needs to be cleaned up, what needs to be thrown away, what doesn't need to be hoarded anymore. And a lot of it's very mental, and it's just like realizing it and then doing it. instead of just putting things off, or I don't know, help me, show me, teach me. Like maybe we need to really kind of like come into our strong, defined sense of direction right now and just do the work necessary for that. King of Wands in reverse. Always reversals, huh? I don't know. Mars trine Neptune's kind of King of Wands in reverse energy to me. It's almost like just like a little bit of, there's a lot of water on that Mars right now, but Mars does like the waters of Scorpio because it's much more intense and it's not just like flowing around or super emotional. It's like I gotta get it. But I don't know about the King of Wands. I can't even get a good message for it, to be honest. But we got it because the Knight of Pentacles, all court cards. And then the Knight of Pentacles is like, okay, let's just get to practical work. Don't dim your fire. Do the things that are going to progress you. Make moves this weekend. It doesn't have to be like crazy fast moves, but it's like just keep progressing, do the things. Something needs to be cleaned up this weekend. And then there's a finger of God to the moon in Virgo. The moon in Virgo the whole time. It's going to be making some pretty nice aspects. It will make the third quarter square, but that's also like, hey, there's action that needs to be taken in your physical world if you want the beliefs to be real, if you want the visions to be real. And we don't want to trick ourselves into not thinking we have the answer. And we just got to do the things. And pull one more. Nine of Swords, upright. Yeah, it's kind of a mental, I think there can be mental stress for sure. And we don't want to be too anxious or... The fact of the matter is we just don't have to have it all figured out. It's just like start moving things where you feel like they're going to fit in life and clean things up if you feel like they're out of place. And it's going to open things up. And I just feel like if we don't sort of do the physical this weekend, we might actually feel like, oh, geez, I didn't do that. Sending you all my best. I do hope you have a beautiful weekend. I will see you for the weekly forecast and on Monday very soon. Very, very soon. Have a great weekend. Much love, everybody. Peace.